PlayMaker Pro starts out with a blank, untitled document. So you can see at the top of the document window it says Untitled, and over here in the table of contents it says Page 1, and this page is definitely blank. So the first thing I like to do is go under File and do a Save, and give my document a name. So let's call this Offense, and we're going to save it on the desktop, and click on Save. So now you can see the document name is here for Offense. Now we're going to work with players and plays, so let's click on the Play tool, and anywhere we click in the drawing area it'll create a new play, and the offensive center should be right where we clicked. So now we have 22 new players, and they're all highlighted or selected, and the Select tool is also selected. So we can grab onto any player and move them about as a group and put them wherever we like. If we click on nothing so that none of them are selected, then we can grab them individually with the Select tool and move them where we want them. And you can see little blue lines are appearing, and that little blue horizontal line means that this player I'm moving is lined up with the two guys to his left. We can pull the quarterback back, we can move the defensive players around. And sometimes we like to draw a play with just the offense. So if we highlight the defense, we can go under the Commands menu and make selected players invisible. So now we have an invisible defense. We've got a drawing that just has the offense, but the defensive players are really still there, they're just invisible. So if I select them and go back under the Commands menu, I can make those invisible players visible again. The next thing I'd like to do is work with symbols. So each player has a whole bunch of symbols that they can be represented by. If we look under the Format menu, we can look at player symbols and change the defense to X's, or we could change them to letters, or we could change them to triangles. But let's change them to boxes. Now the players that are around O's can also be depicted as ovals. So if you look under the Commands menu, there's a command that says Draw Oval O's. And so now our O's are ovals, and now they're back to being round O's again. Player letters can be set by selecting a player in a play and going under the Commands menu and do Set Players Letters. And this brings up a window that shows the letters for all 22 players in a play. Now they always have letters regardless of what their symbol is, so sometimes you'll want to edit the letters for players. There's a shortcut for doing that. If you have the Select tool and you double click on a player, that will bring up that window and highlight the letters for that particular player so you can edit it right away. We can change the color of players. So if we highlight the defense and go under the Format menu again and look at player color, we could make the defense red. We could highlight the offense and make the offense blue. And we can also change the fill color for players. So let's go under Format and set the player fill color to yellow for the offense. We can rotate players to show they're not headed north and south at the beginning of a play. So if we highlight the defense and go under the Commands menu, we can rotate selected players to the right 15 degrees, or we could rotate selected players to the left 15 degrees. And that's how we can depict a player that's not headed north and south at the beginning of the play. So let's get them north and south again. So we'll set their rotation to 0 degrees. The players' sizes can be changed, and so if you select a player in a play and go under the Commands menu, there's a command that says Set Size of Players, and that gives us this window that has a couple sliders. So we can make players bigger and smaller. And we once had a coach who wanted to make his defense slightly bigger than his offense. So that's why we have separate sliders for offense and defense. We can enlarge and reduce a play so it's still selected. We can go into the commands menu and enlarge, reduce the play. And that gives us a window with one slider in it. This makes the players bigger and also spreads them out. You might be a defensive coach and would like to have the defense on the bottom of the play. So there's a command that lets you flip the offense and the defense around the center. So now we have a defensive play with the defense on the bottom. Let's flip them back up on top. And sometimes it's nice to be able to flip them from left to right. So if we have a play drawn and we duplicate it, we might put that duplicate someplace else and reverse the play around the center. So now we've drawn the right-handed version of the play and we've created the left-hand version of the play, only this just took a few seconds to do. You can also show the ball. And the ball is useful if you're doing play animation. You can give the ball a route and he can follow the players around or be passed or whatever. And you can also set the attributes of players by right-clicking on them. So if I right-click on this player, I can change his symbol to an X. If you have a trackpad, you can hold down the control key and just click on a player and the pop-up menu will come up as well. So those are all the things you can do with players and PlayMaker Pro.